Peace, audience. Yah bless. Blessed be the name of Yah. Yah, our righteousness, the King, the fountain of living water, the Spirit and creator of all things, the first and the last, and beside him there is no Savior. Peace to our national audience and our international audience. And this is part 3 of the dispelling of the Christian myth and its idols. We're here today. This is March 25th, 2009. And pick it up pretty much where we left off from part 2. And we're talking about the idols of Christianity, and Christianity, the religion that has been spread upon the earth in this fourth kingdom of man. And I want to make mention of, before we start today, so everybody can have this in their mind, remember that the name of Yah in the Book of Remembrance was taken out over 6,800 places. Every place where you see God or Lord in all capital letters or initial cap, that's where Yah was. Before the descendants of Esau, known as Mezrites, in the 1st century BCE to the 6th century CE AD, they took it out in their transliterations of the Book of Remembrance, the so-called Old Testament. So every place where you see Lord or God in all capital letters or initial cap, that's where YHWH was, or Yod Heh Wah Heh, which is the name of he who creates is what it means, in the name of Yah the Creator. So remember that as we talk here today, and as you read your books. So as usual, get your recording devices together, because you're going to need to go back over this show, because we're going to do our best to get a lot of things in here today. And with Yah's blessings, we'll be able to do this show complete. Now, remember, not only is Jesus or Yeshua, Yahshua, okay, the supposed son of Yah, he's not only the idol of Christianity, but also they worship, the people of Christianity worship his supposed mother, Mary. They worship her as well. And if you remember on the part 2, I mentioned how basically Christianity is the carryover from the old Canaanite religion, Baal, and many of the attributes of Baal worship were instituted in Christianity when the descendants of Esau conceived it. They also put in attributes of the old Egyptian religion that they knew we were very susceptible to worshiping. Like I've said in past shows, you go to Ezekiel chapter 23, you can see there, that's where the children of Israel were inundated with idolatry in Egypt, those 430 years in Egypt. And after 30 years of being in Egypt initially, that's when they started to go into the worship of Egyptian idols, and that's when the affliction began, that 400 years of affliction. Now, Baal worship initially started out, it had multiple idols. It wasn't just one idol, but as time went by, it became just one idol. Okay, so that's why you can see again the attributes in Christianity of the worship of this Jesus or Yeshua, the supposed son of Yah, and Mary, his mother. Okay, there's many images around the world of Mary and this idol of called Jesus or Yeshua. And in that regard, it is very similar to the old Canaanite religion of Baal. But as I said, as time went by, Baal became just the preeminent and the only idol of the Baal worship, as Jesus has basically become, or Yeshua, whatever you choose to call it, has become basically the only idol of Christianity, or the preeminent one. And again, just in mentioning about the insemination of Egyptian worship into Christianity, most people you hear, they will always say amen. Okay, A-M-A-N. And they call themselves referring to that what they see that has been inseminated into the book of remembrance in Psalms. You know, after many of the Psalms, you'll see amen or amen, amen, A-M-E-N. And that is the prefix to the old Egyptian names of their idols. Amenhotep, Amen-Ra. Okay? Just like Amenophis the second, the Pharaoh of the Exodus. So you see there the insemination of that word. People say it, they don't really understand what they're saying, and in so doing, they're making reference to the old Egyptian idol, Amen, Aman. Okay? So, again, we've mentioned on past shows about Serapis or Serapis, which comes from the old Egyptian worship that was instituted by the descendants of Esau and Ptolemy Soter when, after they poisoned Alexander the Great, murdered him, and Ptolemy Soter was established himself in Egypt, that part of Alexander the Great's kingdom, as it was prophesied that his kingdom would be broken up into 4 different heads, of which Ptolemy was the first one in 320 BCE to establish his kingdom, his dynasty. And in so doing, Ptolemy, with the descendants of Esau who he was connected with, after they poisoned Alexander, again, and Ptolemy was established in Egypt, they established this idol called Serapis or Serapis, which was a combining of the old Egyptian idols of Osiris and Apis the bull. And on previous shows we showed a picture of this idol. Okay, as you can see here, right here, get it up there close so everybody can see it, right here. Okay, and you can see that it's very, very similar to the picture and the image that is shown today all over the world that they call Jesus or Yeshua, but in actuality that is Serapis or Serapis. We've shown that picture before. And with that, we have here today, I'm going to read a piece out of John G. Jackson's book called The African Origin of Christianity. Okay, and it's called, this section is called the Christ Myth. Okay, and it says the historicity of Jesus, however, is now widely questioned. Even the most liberal defenders of the faith find themselves in a very uncomfortable position, being belabored by both fundamentalists and ultra-nationalists alike, after surrendering the theological Christ or anointed. In other words, they understand in the book of remembrance that they understand that that's real, about this anointed, that, remember now, Christ just means anointed. Okay, so the liberal Christian apologist finds out, much to his chagrin, that practically nothing is known about the historical Jesus. Our chief sources of information concerning Jesus Christ are the genuine Pauline epistles and the 4 Gospels of the New Testament. There are also the alleged references to Jesus by Jewish and pagan writers, but most of these are of extremely doubtful authenticity. There is a famous passage in the Antiquities of the Jews, quote unquote, by Flavius Josephus, in which reference is made to Jesus Christ, but it is generally regarded as a forgery even by Christian scholars. Okay, it says the passage is not mentioned by any Christian writer before Eusebius in the early part of the 4th century. Tacitus, the Roman historian, in his celebrated Annals, refers to the burning of Rome in 64 AD and the Neronian persecution of the Christians.